of just being able to bless me with a voice, because without you, I am nothing and I can't do nothing. And I want to acknowledge that. We want to just thank Lynell for being a faithful servant. She's about to share some good nuggets. Bless her gift. Bless her career, Lord, and send lots of customers her way. To the podcast viewers that are listening as far as the east, as far as the west, as far as the north, as far as the south, may they be transformed, uplifted. May they be motivated, and may they have a change in their life. And God, to this word, and we just thank you for just being so honorable. Thank you, Lord. Lynell, it is a pleasure
Amen.
to have you, girl. Thank you.
I'm glad to be here, Kim.
Yes. Oh my God, Miss Lynell. Lynell is very special because me and Lynell share our same birthday. So that makes us very special in the universe.
That is correct. This is my sister from another mister.
Yes, it is.
We are true Cancerians.
Oh, yes. I mean, I think I probably know maybe three other people that is walking the face of the earth that has the birthday on the same day in the same month that we do. And it's just
Yeah.
amazing. And I just go
Yeah.
like, I just like, just suck them up when I meet them.
I
We're
love it.
few and far in between. So, anywho, Miss Linnell, I'm going to go ahead and read a little bit about your bio. Is that okay?
Absolutely.
Okay, let's go ahead on to it. But before that, our topic today is house hacking. We're going to talk about the 3 C's of lending, which is credit, capacity, and collateral. And we have a short little slideshow for you as well. So make sure you stay tuned throughout the whole presentation. So Miss Linnell is a branch manager at Mason McDuffie Mortgage Corporation, which is one of the top 100 mortgage companies in America. Now, as long as I have been knowing this woman past 2 decades plus some other years added onto that, she only does the best. I've never seen her with a company that's less than. She's only the best. A Bay Area native, she grew up in San Francisco during the heyday of the beloved 49er franchise and is now based in Oakland. Linnell has been helping individuals tackle their financial goals via specialized financing solutions to purchase, refinance, and to renovate their homes from over 3 decades. Can y'all say three? Okay, a decade is 10. 2 decades make 20. 3 decades make 30, hence 30
A long
years.
time.
That this woman has been doing what she's doing. She is a master, an expert. So you know any word she dropping is just gonna be solid seed. Originally licensed as a real estate agent in her late teens, Linnell found residential financing to be her sweet spot. Welcome, Linnell Bevels.
Welcome.
Inspired conversations.
Thank you, Kim.
Girl,
I
take it.
certainly appreciate it, Miss Too Gorgeous. Absolutely. Thank you.
Yes. So now, what keeps you so excited about what you're doing and staying as a mortgage consultant and now a branch manager? What makes you just still so excited about mortgage lending?
You know, the mortgage space is a space where I get an opportunity to work with any number of people. So I'm always helping people, and I think that resonates with my soul, if you will. And so I like to kind of solve the problem.
Mm-hmm.
And mortgage, can sometimes be a little tricky. Some can sometimes be a problem. And so that's probably part of the reason why I'm so, committed to the space. Um, yeah, I like to help people.
I mean, but you've been in it for 3 decades. I mean,
Yeah.
that says a lot. I mean, we were talking about this earlier. I'm like, how could you start? You wasn't even born yet. How could you? To still love what you. I'm like, no, she wasn't born. She done.
Yeah.
To still do what you do so well. And the beautiful thing is that you've seen it change over the years. It changes, but then
Absolutely.
it not changes. I mean, it has, I'm sure, the basic the things that never change, and then there's things that environmental factors and things that go on in life that does change, like COVID. So
Yeah.
let's
Yeah.
get into what have you seen some of those changes, knock knock, that buyers need to be aware or maybe be better aligned when now they're seeking mortgages.
Right. Your point is well taken in that nothing, there's lots of things that have changed, but a lot of stuff is still the same. You know, there's nothing new under the sun, right? But the guidelines associated with the programs that, you know, buyers and homeowners are going to be looking at, there, it's a little more rigid now, right? So some of the guidelines before COVID had some flexibility, and, you know, in the middle of COVID, things changed. Some of the investors of the loans that, you know, we do, the guidelines just completely changed. Like instead of, as an example, instead of, you know, a standard like, oh, all you need to do is have a 620 credit score, right? Now you need to have a 660 or a 700 for some of those loan amounts that are in the conforming lending space, which is the lending space where you hear most about in terms of the interest rates. The loan amounts are, you know, 500 or so thousand or less. Those are the conforming lending spaces, and those program guidelines have changed a bit. But the jumbo lending, which, hello, California, jumbo lending space was nearly like wiped out for a minute during COVID. A lot of the investors in that space did not want to, you know, make those loans. And if they were making those loans, you had to really be like AAA. You had to have like a 740 credit score.
That's what I'm talking
You had to have 6 months reserves, meaning 6 months of whatever your monthly mortgage payment is times 6 in the bank as reserves. And prior to COVID, that was not necessarily a requirement. And so what I have had to do was help people understand that if you know what you need in advance, then the change in the guidelines doesn't necessarily make a difference, right?
Right.
But if you try to jump into, you know, a buying process without actually preparing yourself, that's when you run into all types of, you know, issues, right? And road bumps that may prevent you from being able to buy. And so that's, and I guess the credit piece and the reserves, there's a lot of buyers in the market, but that's kind of always been the case, you know, in the Bay Area. But more so during COVID, surprisingly, right? You would think that with a pandemic, people would not necessarily be in the market, but people were really in the market and are still in the market today because, you know, as you know, a lot of us are sheltering at home for those of us who are not essential workers, and thank you to all the essential workers. But for those of us who are not essential workers, you know, we're at home, you know, working, and some folks, they're like, I got to get out of this place.
Okay.
You know,
it's like, I need a new house. But when you look at typical average cost of home nowadays, let's run a number. So if I'm looking at a house is 800,000. I mean, I would love to get a condo, but I mean, so let's just say, you know, a higher end 800,000, and you said that you have to have reserve. Is the average down payment, would that be 20%, 10%?
You can get away with
if that's 20%, that's $160,000 we talking about in reserve.
Yeah, you can actually get away with a 5% down.
Okay, 5% down.
Yeah, you can get away with 5% down.
Let's do the math on that. So you find $100,000, you find an $800,000 house in the Bay Area.
Yeah, and that's 40,000.
Okay, so that's 40,000. So what you're saying is you need to have at least $40,000 tucked away somewhere.
Correct.
Possibly.
Reserve, like in a 401k, stocks, or just hard cash in a savings account, because the money all has to be verifiable, documented in an account via your bank statements.
$40,000 on an $800,000 house, and a mortgage of that would be an estimate of what per month, roughly?
Let's see. If you're at 760,000, that's about $3,400 for the principal and interest portion. And then the taxes on 800,000, it's 1.25% of the purchase price is the norm. So you're looking at about $833
and
a month.
And is that a month or divided by?
That was monthly. That was monthly.
803.
833 dollars.
So you're looking at $833, and you're looking at a mortgage of $3,400. So you're looking at $4,233 on approximately a mortgage that's $800,000.
Yeah.
That's what we're
Yeah.
looking at.
Yeah.
That's what we're working with
Yeah, that's what we're working with.
in COVID. Okay.
If you want to live in the Bay Area,
You want to live in the Bay.
Yeah, if you want to move, you can move to Vegas, you can move to Texas,
All right,
you can move to
or less
Utah.
expensive. That would be our less expensive, but that gives a good medium. That gives a good base. So if you want to go down a little bit lower, then you know what that would be. If you're going to get something through the Caldecott Tunnel or maybe San Francisco, you know that's going to be that much higher. Now, if you're going over to the Bay and you go over to San Rafael or you're going to Tiburon, it's going to be probably twice as much as that.
That's a fact.
Okay. Okay.
But we do have these lovely counties: Solano County, Contra Costa County, out in El Sobrante, Richmond area. They've got some more for Fairfield. I had a client buy in Fairfield in March of last year, like literally right at the beginning of the pandemic, and she paid about $420,000 for a really, really nice townhome.
That's
Okay. And I mean, Fairfield.
So now we're talking half of that. So we say if it's $420, then roughly about $2,300 you're looking at. Let's just round it up $2,500.
25. Yeah. Okay, and interest rates are all contingent on credit scores. So the higher your credit score, the better the interest rate will be, and also the private mortgage insurance, because when you put less than 20% down, then you're going to have that private mortgage insurance. So,
and we know about the private mortgage insurance, and you want to have that because you never know what external emergencies or environmental stress that may happen. So you might as well just go ahead and throw that in, right?
Well, you should have property insurance for your protection. However, the private mortgage insurance is for the lender's protection. Okay. So it don't help you at all. I was just quoting a client today who's looking at making an offer on a property, $712,000.
Okay.
And the mortgage insurance on that is going to be $400 a month, which is not tax deductible. Yeah.
Oh. So wow. So and then let's flip the script of the interest that you can charge, because I know with the taxes, and I know a couple of years ago when we had a particular person in office, there was a cap of how much money that you could write off in terms of your interest. So when you look at, you put all this money down and you have these pipe dreams that you want to get your home and everything, is that still the same to where there's a cap of the interest that can be deducted on your taxes? Or is Biden going to change that? Has it been changed, or is it still the same?
Right. I have not. I haven't seen any change, but certainly it's his prerogative. Our new president.
At a certain level of a max of how much that you'll be able to.
Yeah, I want to say it's $700. The first $700,000. Yeah. Of that loan, the interest can be deducted, and so for those people who are buying, $800, $900 million, those are the people who that situation really impacts.
Exactly.
Right. But there's a lot of people that are in the, $500 to $750,000.
They're not impacted.
They're not as much.
Got it.
But you're right. The Biden's administration may be looking at that. So we'll see. They've got a lot on their plate. So we'll have to see what.
So I got to throw this in here, Lynell. So what about the self-employed people? The self-employed people.
We love the self-employed people, but I'm gonna tell you what, during COVID.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. The guidelines are not for you.
Thank you. They're not. And it's not fair. It's not fair.
No. It's not. It's not. You're right. It's not right. But if then you can prepare for it. They want to see not only 2 years tax returns. Now they're going back to an old school model, which is to provide your year-to-date profit and loss. It has to be an audited profit and loss, or you need to provide, I want to say it's 3 months bank statements to show that you have deposits on average that equal what you earned the year prior, because a self-employed individual doesn't have a pay stub. So really the only way that they can
Show
document
proof.
their income
Yes.
is when they file their tax return. So
Exactly.
here we are in 2021.
Mhm.
We don't have your 2020 tax return right now. What
That's
we do
right.
have is 2018 and 2019. So we
That's
would
right.
take a 2-year average
Mhm.
of the 2018 and 2019
Mhm.
net profits.
Net profit.
Net,
There you go. You take the net profit.
net,
Mhm.
not gross. I love when people tell me I make $1 million.
You know,
But what are
y'all
you
ain't
paying
fair.
taxes on, Kim?
You
That's
know
what I
what,
want to know.
Lynell, y'all ain't fair because you'll take a worker that work every day and look at his W-4, you look at his gross. But when you take a self-employed person like I and millions of others, y'all look at our net. Y'all ain't right. You ain't right.
Well, yeah,
Not right.
but
It's not fair. It's not fair.
it actually, here's where it's fair, Kim. The employee is paying taxes on the gross
Absolutely.
that they earn.
Yes.
Self-employed individuals pay taxes on the net.
Yeah.
So it's not fair. It wouldn't be, it's not apples to
Yes,
apples, right?
You're right.
So that's the reason why. So from a mortgage perspective, the underwriting staff, they only care about the income you pay taxes on. So that's how you have to look at it.
That's true.
And so what I tell my self-employed borrowers is that you have to make a decision. Either you don't want to pay taxes,
Okay.
and if that's the case, you're going to write off everything under the sun,
That's
or
right. And you never get anything. You never, excuse me, you never qualify for what a lot of things you would like to qualify for.
Yes,
okay.
But it comes down to choice, because I've seen any number of tax returns from self-employed individuals, and they make choices. If you have gross receipts of X,
okay,
and your net income shows a negative $100,
okay,
well, I mean, how long can you file a negative with a business? I think it's 7 years. And then the IRS is gonna come after you like, listen, stop playing around with your hobby. If you're not making any money or paying any taxes, then you need to pick something different to do. Then you can check the IRS website. I don't know definitively how many years they allow you to file a negative on a business, but there is there's a timeline on that, Kim.
It is. No, really, it is. It's like,
yeah, I think it's 7 years.
The IRS says, look, this is a hobby. No, you wasting paper.
They're like, quit playing.
Like, stop.
Quit living La Vida Loca, because we know the money that you're not claiming is going somewhere. I mean, you know.
It's not going us, but it's going somewhere.
It ain't that many expenses.
we're gonna stop. We're gonna shut this party down right now.
Yeah.
But you know, we had talked about that too. I want you to tiptoe a little bit in terms of the credit, and then we're going to move forward. And that is that I know with mortgage lending, you all used to provide certain services for us when we came in, but now those services is, you know, kind of like altered a little bit. So what do you normally share with clients now if they're coming in to be pre-qualified for themselves to make sure that everything, credit and collections and debts are paid, so they come in full paper, A paper ready to be qualified?
You know, nowadays, because, you know, consumers have access to, say Credit Karma or any of those consumer credit sites.
Yes.
I recommend that they kind of start there, look at the credit, maybe order all 3 bureaus, because each bureau, unfortunately, has different information.
Right.
It's the most ridiculous thing that still exists in this industry, that these bureaus can't seem to get their act together. But that's what it is, and that's what we have to deal with. And so I would say to get a handle of your credit report. And, you know, the best thing to do is to strive for the highest credit score that you can have. And if you miss it, well, that's okay, but you don't want to be under a 640 credit score. Not now, especially with COVID. Period. No, you have to strive for 680 and higher. Because again, as I said, if you're buying in the jumbo lending space, now they want you to have at least a 700 credit score. And in some cases, you know, for people who are buying in the $1.5 million, $2 million spaces, they need to be at an 800, you know, in some cases. Yeah, in some cases, because there's so many different investors in the jumbo market, and they all have their own criteria. But I'm just saying, you know, 700 and above is definitely where people need to strive for. And sometimes it's not that difficult to get there. It's just understanding how the credit piece works, how maintaining balances. You know, people say, oh, I pay my balance off every month. Well,
No, pay that
it
off.
doesn't look that way. Yeah. Because when we run the credit report, yeah, it's a snapshot of right now.
Absolutely.
So it never reconciles when you paid it and now that's the credit report. No. And it's so, yeah. So if you got high balances, above 30% of whatever the limit is, you probably want to pay down that account, because paying down accounts so that you don't owe more than 30% of what the limit is, it really impacts the credit score. And also, if you're making payments twice a month versus once a month, it kind of trips up the system sometimes, right? And so even if you're not making a double payment, but you're making the regular payment and maybe an extra $20 or $50 on it, you know what I mean? It might have an impact on the
That
score.
is so pivotal. What a very vital point, Lynell, that you just made, because I think oftentimes, now your AAA plus paper people, they know that. But not everybody is over here. Some people are trying to get over there. But if you're in the middle, you need to know, like if you have $1,000 credit limit, you should never be charging more than $300 on it. That's 30%.
Yeah.
So, you know, if your balance is going to 600 or 500, you need to be able to manage that to where it's no more than $300, because you never know when that kind of curve is going to come in and take a snapshot of your credit. It could be the 1st, it could be the 15th, it could be the 10th, it could be the 28th. So, but if you manage it to where it's always at below that 30%, then no matter when the snapshot comes in, all right, now we're playing the game.
Exactly. And that's all it is, Kim.
No, really. No,
it's just a game. It's just a game.
Really, it is.
Yeah.
Really, it is. And then the second piece that you said is that, hey, you need to have reserves. So you need to start saving. So if you're really serious about getting home, you need to tuck some money away. I mean, hey, we in COVID, you can't go out, don't go to restaurants, you're not shopping, you're not bowling, you're not traveling. So put that money away, put it in the savings, you know, so that you can build your wealth. And this is what we need to do, build our wealth. So you mentioned credit, capacity, and collateral. So 3 C's. So what's the collateral piece? You talked about the credit. We talked about the capacity. So what's the collateral piece of that?
Well, and the capacity, let me just digress a bit. So yeah, we did talk about credit, which is represents the character component of the 3 C's. And then you also have the capacity. And the capacity is your ability to repay. So, you know, when the mortgage meltdown crisis happened, a lot of things came out of that, you know, that impacted the industry, you know, in terms of how we underwrite and review files, right? And so now the analysis has more to do with your ability to repay the debt.
Okay.
And they're looking at, you know, your income, whatever that is, whether it be from, you know, the net income on your tax return as a self-employed individual, or your gross monthly income as a W-2 wage earner. And depending on the program, the guidelines don't want you to spend more than, say, 38% all the way up to 50% of your gross monthly income. It depends on the program, though. For conforming loan limits, you can, in most cases, you can spend up to 50%, 50% of your gross monthly income on total debt. Okay. So that's, you know, if you make $10,000 a month, 50% would be 5,000, right?
And we're talking not taxes taken out yet. So just say taxes not taken out yet.
No, this is gross. This is gross.
And out of that 5,000, better pay your rent, your PG&E, your credit cards.
If you're planning to buy, we're not thinking about your rent. We're thinking about whatever your current consumer debts are. Like if you have a car payment, a student loan, even if the student loan is in forbearance or deferred or whatever, it doesn't matter. It has to be counted. So from that 5,000, you would subtract your minimum credit card payments and any installment debt that you have. And once you subtract that, that represents what is left to apply towards a new mortgage payment. And so in this example, if you make $10,000 a month, and we're going to use 5,000, which is 50%. Let's just say this person has $1,500 in consumer debt, credit card, student loan, whatever. That leaves $3,500 that we have for principal, interest, taxes, and insurance, right? And so for me to get to what the loan amount or purchase price is, I run some fancy figures, but we'll look at this as $2,450 would be the principal and interest payment,
Okay.
30-year term. I'm going to use a rate of 3
Okay.
$562
Okay.
loan amount. That's a $562,000 loan amount.
Okay.
If this person has 5% down,
Okay.
that puts them at a $592 purchase price.
Got you.
Mm-hmm. And that's just those. That's the conforming limit space. That's if you're doing an FHA loan. FHA also allows you to go up to 50% of your gross monthly income. They don't consider, your cable bill, your PG&E, your car insurance. They don't consider any of those things in debt to income ratio. They do consider consumer debt, that things that appear on your credit report.
So I'm going to tiptoe just 60 seconds back to the self-employed people, because it's a million of us that make up this industry.
That's right.
So really it is. And I remember back years ago when I had qualified, for my mortgage as a self-employed person. And when you were talking about the taxes and stuff, that was so true. I mean, it was nothing. I mean, I just had to supply all my bank information, and it's just like the taxes, things had to match up. And it's, exactly what you just said. That's exactly what I went through. Yeah. But here's the deal, what's so interesting with COVID for self-employed people, and I just want to tiptoe for 60 seconds with that, is that those that actually had to shut their businesses down, there was no income coming in. Yeah. And just say moving forward in 2021, we are now, businesses are back open. Some of us is doing really, really well. And you really want to buy something, say at the end of the year, will you have a choice to do that? Because you're not going to show any income in 2020 because you were closed or forced to close. So is it that really the best thing to do is set your heights for 2022 to buy?
I would say yes. I would say yes, because this is the equivalent of someone being laid off. Yes. That's basically what it is, right? Okay. And so an employee who is laid off can't apply to buy a house. And so therefore, if a self-employed borrower's business was shut down, they're kind of laid off. And so, but what we can do with a self-employed individual is we would take an average of their income. So for instance, this year, so 2020, obviously people were hit hard, but some people weren't. Some people were hit harder than others, right? And so maybe they lost 3 to 5 months of income versus all, all the months. So it really just depends. And we would just look at it and average it out.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fair enough. Yeah. Okay. Fair enough. So the other thing that we talked about, Lynell, was house hacking. So I really, really want to get into that. And that is how you can actually get property without paying for a mortgage. So let's talk about that for a little bit. And then I have a little slideshow that you're going to share with us.
So to be clear, house hacking is really a situation whereby you purchase, let's say, for instance, you purchase a duplex, a triplex, or a fourplex, multifamily. It's still considered residential.
Would you like to start getting the slides together now, or wait?
Oh no, you don't have to get the slide right now. But if you house hack, the idea is that you live in one of the units, one of the 2, 3, or 4 units, and then you rent the other units out, and therefore the rent will cover the mortgage. Now, it doesn't always happen that way, because depending on where you're purchasing and what the rents already are, because like in Oakland is a rent controlled environment, but you're buying at today's prices. So sometimes the rents may not always allow you, but the point is that if you buy a property where you've got 2 or 3 units paying rent to you, it'll at least help offset your mortgage. And that is house hacking. And you can also house hack if you own a single family. Let's say you already have a single family residence or a condo. Maybe you want to rent a room, to a grad student, right? Or to a nurse who needs to sleep at night, or sleep during the day and work at night. I mean, they're not going to be all in your situation because they're at work
too. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so you can rent a room. Yeah. So that's a thing. But the thing about house hacking is that more times than not, you'll have to use an FHA loan, which is the
Okay.
Federal Housing Administration. And if you
Okay.
pop up the slides
All
for me,
right.
Kim, I'd appreciate you for that.
Okay.
I certainly would.
Okay.
So there's a couple of programs that can help individuals purchase properties, specifically multi-family properties, and not have to come in with, you know, more than 20%, right? This is a situation where you can come in with 3.5%. And if we go to the this was one of the, this was the presentation. So if we go to slide 3, I can show you there's no place like home. So right here, how to finance your house hacking endeavors. You can employ an FHA loan, which requires only a 3.5% down payment.
Okay.
It allows you to go up to 50% of your gross monthly income.
Okay.
And you can use 75% of the rents that are being collected on the property. So if it's a duplex,
Okay.
you're going to live in one unit.
Okay.
But the second duplex or the second unit, let's say it's being rented for $3,000 a month.
Okay.
You get to use 75% of those rents to help you qualify to purchase. So that's $2,250 you can add to your gross monthly income to help you purchase this property. And imagine if it's a triplex or a fourplex. So now we're talking about 2 additional units or 3 additional units that you're going to be able to use to help qualify. So FHA, that's a way to go.
Okay.
VA is also another product that allows you to purchase multi-family units.
Mm-hmm.
Again, it's duplex, triplex, fourplex. VA is 100% financing. You must be a veteran to qualify
for this one.
And there are some conventional loans that allow you to buy multifamily. However, whether you live in the property or not, you still have to come in with, say, a 20 to 30% down payment on multifamily property.
Okay.
And so when we're talking about house hacking, we try to employ the FHA or VA. And then the other information to the right of that are the down payment assistance programs that are available that you can use in conjunction with FHA or VA when you're buying a duplex or triplex or fourplex. It's really amazing opportunity for people who are interested in it. Yeah.
Wow.
But that's the house hacking.
That is nice. So how would you know about these different kinds of programs, Lynell? I guess your mortgage broker, your mortgage consultant like you will share those kinds of programs with you.
Correct.
Right?
Right. I mean, because I do a needs assessment. I mean, first of all, everyone doesn't want to use a down payment assistance program to purchase their property because, you know, anytime you're applying for a down payment assistance program, you know, you're going to have to give up something. So maybe the interest rate is, you know, a little bit higher than without it. But, you know, are you going to buy or not? Like, you have to weigh the pros and the cons. And, you know, this is an example of $500,000 purchase price example where the down payment on a duplex is 3.5%, which is $17,500. If you were to get the Golden State Financing Authority's down payment assistance of 4%, it's $19,300. So notice that already covers the 3.5% down payment with a little overage. Your base loan amount is the $490,000 change. And then that represents your payment below the principal and interest, tax and insurance. All that together is the $3,073. So, you know, house hacking by renting one of the units based on the market rents for the subject area. Bay Area rents for 1 to 2 bedrooms are approximately $2,000 to $3,000 depending on where you are, and depending on the amenities as well. And so it's a really good, you know, option. And I say it's an even better option for, you know, folks who have not already established, right? Like, let's say, you know, you already own a home. Are you going to be able to house hack? You're probably going to have to.
Yeah, probably going to have to. Yeah.
No, if you already own a house, a single family residence, an underwriter's not going to believe that you're going to move from your beautiful single family house with the picket fence to a duplex. You know what I mean? Why would you do that? But an argument can be made. I mean, maybe there's a divorce. Maybe there's
you want
a job change.
maybe you want to take care of a home an aging parent, and
Right,
it,
right,
it just changed,
right. The point is that this
Yeah,
it has to make sense because the
totally.
products we were just speaking about are for owner occupied
Yes.
property. And so the smart way to house hack is if you don't currently own something, you can buy a multifamily first
Mm-hmm.
using those products, right? Live there for a year and then go buy your single family or go buy another, multifamily, rent the unit out you just move from and go get another duplex, triplex, or fourplex and keep it going. Or, eventually just buying your
I
single
love
family.
that. That sounds like a great idea to me. But here's
Yeah.
the deal: you got to have a doggone good realtor. Where do you
Yes.
find these kinds of properties that you can feel comfortable living in that
Well,
are available?
you do have to work with a really good realtor, right? Because it takes
Yes.
some strategy. A lot of the Bay Area cities are very competitive right now.
Yes,
If you see something you like, it's very likely somebody else likes it.
that's
So you just
right.
have to know that you're going to be competing. Another, I want to give a shout out to NACA,
Okay.
because NACA is a program that allows, basically they say that it's the best mortgage in America. Now, I don't get anything from, promoting NACA,
Okay.
but I believe in what they're doing. And I think for people who may need a little different journey, if you will,
Mm-hmm.
NACA might be an opportunity to purchase sooner rather than later because their guidelines are way different from the regular mortgage lending
Okay.
guideline. And it's interesting because
All right.
NACA is funded by Bank of America, Wells Fargo, yeah, yeah. And I won't go into their whole
Okay.
history, but the point is that they don't look at credit score, they look at credit history.
Ah.
They also don't charge on their loans private mortgage insurance. That insurance that I said
Mm-hmm.
is not for your benefit, it's for the lender's benefit, and it's also
Mm-hmm.
not tax deductible.
Mm.
You know, that extra $300 or $400 a month can prevent someone from being able to qualify
That's right.
under traditional methods. And NACA found a way to get a number of investors to, buy their loans without having private mortgage
That's
insurance. And
amazing.
that's just the way, yeah, I think, I mean, not to put myself out of business,
No, no, no. No. I
but
mean, it's good to share. That's what we want to do is share. There may be some
yeah,
people's like, wow, this is really good. Lynell,
Google it. NACA.
so spell that for me.
N
N-A.
is in Nancy,
Mhm,
A is in Apple,
mhm.
C is in Charlie, A is in Apple. It stands for Neighborhood
Got it.
Assistance
Got it.
Corporation of America.
Love it.
And they're doing a lot. I mean, it's a little bit of a cumbersome program, but
Hey, it's
not,
worth it if
it
you get through
it's
it, right?
worth it. It's worth it. I think it's worth
Okay.
it. So
All right. Well,
check
thank
it
you
out.
so much
Yeah,
for sharing that. Hey, it all matters. It all counts. So,
my
Lynell,
pleasure.
what is your next? Where do you see yourself in the next 5, 10 years? You've been in this game for 30 plus years, since the age of 16. I don't even see how they allowed you in. You must have lied on the application.
I lied.
So, so what is your next? What is the next? Where are we going to see Miss Lynell Bevels in the next 5 years? I see you as a realtor. I don't know why. I thought maybe you might pick that back up again that you started when you said you was 16.
16, 19, girl. I was
19.
19. And yes, I was a realtor at 19, if you can imagine that.
Wow.
I worked with a mortgage broker in East Palo Alto. He built brand new homes out in that community in the 80s, in the late 80s. And so I learned quickly, the whole buy and sell, build
Yeah.
new homes, groundbreaking, construction financing, all that in 19 and 20. I didn't know what I was doing. I learned quickly. Um,
You were
but I
exposed
didn't,
very early on.
yeah, but Kim, real estate was not my niche, if you will. I
Okay.
gravitated more towards the financing side. But yeah, in 5 years, to answer your question, I plan to still be in this mortgage space because
Mhm.
in 5 years, Yeah, I still got a
You
long
can really
time
give
before I'm
it,
gonna
yeah, you
retire.
really can. I mean, come on, Lynell, you can give it 30 more years. I mean, by
Yeah,
that time you'll
I
catch
got a
up with
little
really
ways to
how your
go.
age need to look. I mean, so
Yeah,
you really can't give it 30 more years, girl. You really
I could, but we not gonna do that here. But
can't.
I don't, I would be open to, pursuing a real estate sales career,
Mm,
in 10 or
mhm,
15 years, um, not as a full-time opportunity, but just something that keeps me active. I enjoy real estate. A lot of my friends are real estate agents.
mhm,
And in real estate, it's just a beautiful space, the homes, the lifestyle,
mm,
so yeah, I think it would be great to kind of make that
mm,
transition. But
mm.
that's down the road, 10 or 15 years.
I just love it seeing these I would say seasoned let me just say for lack of a better word seasoned women with their Jackie Onassis shades and they get out of their Bentleys and their turtlenecks and their cashmere blazers and their
That's right.
stiletto heels and they still rocking it
That's right.
showing properties. It's
That's
like
right.
I'm not mad at you.
That's
They
right.
still doing it. Do
No,
it till the
and
wheels come off, and,
yeah,
and selling
yeah,
property and doing really, really good and looking quite fashionable doing it.
absolutely, as they should, because that is
Yeah,
old school real estate sales. My
it
grandfather was a
really,
real estate agent for
yes.
35 some odd years. And may he rest in peace. My grandpa bought a brand new car, I think, every 2 years.
Wow.
Because back then, the realtor always picked up their client and carried them around to all of the open
Right,
houses and that
right.
type of a thing. Not so much nowadays, and certainly not during COVID, right? I think COVID has certainly created an interesting opportunity for real estate agents because now we are all trained to look at properties virtually
Mm,
more so than before, right? Because
uh-huh.
now
Totally.
you can't just go there. There are no open houses.
There's no open houses.
No, no, you have to make an appointment
Hmm.
to go see the property,
That's
and then
right.
no one's going to be there. It's an interesting dynamic, and so
Oh,
I think it
totally.
creates an opportunity for people who are interested in the real estate space to
Hmm.
get into the business. Like I would love. I was on a call with Compass Real Estate a few months ago, and they were talking to young people
Hmm.
about looking at real estate as a career opportunity, right? Because it's not just it's real estate sales, so you can be a real estate agent, but maybe you want to be a home inspector, a
Hmm.
termite inspector.
Hmm.
Maybe you want to be an appraiser.
Or an
Appraisers
appraiser.
pay.
Absolutely. The
One of my
sky's the
clients just
limit.
paid $1,000 to get an appraisal because we have to compete. We have to be able to close in 21 days, which means we need the inspection back now, like 10 days. And, it's almost like you have to just throw extra money for a rush fee. So appraising is a really good business to be in.
You know,
Merritt College has those classes, by
So
the
I
way.
was going to say, Linnell, that is so good. You are right on
Hmm.
the money. How can we get our
Yeah.
young people that are
Hmm.
graduating from high school into this
Yeah.
type of trade?
Get a real estate
Okay,
license and still go to
okay,
college.
all
Get
right.
a real estate license and
Yes,
still go to college. That's
exactly.
life hacking right there,
That's
okay?
life hacking.
That's life
Yes.
hacking.
And
Get a
wealth
real
building.
estate license, sell a couple of houses a year while you're in school, right?
There it is.
Get your money on.
There it is. There it is. There it is. And I see you doing wonderful seminars showing people around the world, Linnell, on how they can do that. When do we see possibly this coming? These wonderful seminars that Grandpa used to
Well,
do.
Kim, you inspire me. You inspire me, and you've been encouraging me, and some other folks have been doing the same. And I am certainly, it's on the horizon, if you will.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
back in the day, I did quarterly workshops on a regular basis. It was really my primary source of business. I really enjoyed it, and the space that we're in now, which is virtual,
Mm-hmm.
it actually is a really good opportunity to do virtual workshops because everybody wants information. And it doesn't matter if you're a first time home buyer, a second time buyer, a move up buyer. It doesn't matter if you're a high income, earner or a low to moderate income earner. If you
Totally.
don't understand the mortgage process,
That's right.
attending a home financing workshop is the best thing to do because Kim, I'll tell you, sometimes I get calls from people, and these are, I work with a lot of working,
Mhm.
corporate America type folks that are making decent money, right?
That's right.
Well, what you make has nothing, it doesn't mean that you understand this space. And
Yes.
they want to have like 2-hour conversations. That's not what this is. I mean, this is, I can't do a one-person workshop.
Yes.
And so it's always a good idea to get the information, whether it be attending a workshop or going on the Consumer Finance Bureau, CFPB, Consumer Finance Protection Bureau's website, which was a site that was born out of the mortgage meltdown crisis for consumers to go to that platform to learn anything that they want to know about the mortgage process, the credit piece, everything. It's a very involved site for consumers to learn some things. So,
Amen to that. See,
right on.
See all this wealth of information just right there.
It's all in my head, Kim.
Okay.
It's all.
Of course, for 35 plus years, it should be, rightfully so. I mean, all these nuggets, man, just pull it out.
I love it.
It's definitely been a pleasure, Lynell. How can people get in contact with you, and what is the best way? Are you offering complimentary consultations? Should they contact you through Facebook? What is the best way that someone, if they're interested, to contact you?
Yeah, so I'm on all the social media platforms. So if they prefer a Facebook platform or LinkedIn, I'm on all of that. You just Google my name, Lynell Bevels. I come up under Facebook, LinkedIn, probably even Instagram, Kim, even though I don't post very often.
I know.
I'm gonna do better. I'm gonna do better. But the best way really, is to catch me on my cell, to either call or text me at 510-919-0281.
Okay.
Yeah, and that's my cell. So I'm always available.
So Lynell, would that be okay to post that in the information that someone can get in contact with you? We'll post that cell phone if that's okay with you.
Absolutely. Okay. Absolutely. And I'm totally open for complimentary discussions about, the process and how I might be able to help.
Totally.
And certainly if I can't help someone, I pretty much have resources. Yeah, I have resources. You heard my resource earlier, which was NACA. I think it's a great program. So
yes, thank you.
It's not for everybody.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I really do appreciate that. And that's what we are here to, is to drop nuggets to help people along the way, to give those resources. Some people that might be looking forward towards that. Is there anything else that you would like to add before we close out?
No, I mean, this is a great platform, Kim. I think this is fantastic. I really, really appreciate being a guest on your show. It's amazing. You're beautiful as always. I mean, has it really been 20 years?
Yeah, it's been 25, Lynell. It'll be 25 May
25.
And actually it's gonna be longer than that, because we met at the First Fridays, man, at the Tomato Drum, and back in the day, man, every month on Friday, Too Gorgeous was there. She was knocking the table and we were representing our business.
That's right. That's right. I was just talking to Deanna about that.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. 17 years. I was with 17 years, every single month for 17 years.
On the first Friday.
I swear.
We were there. I'm like, okay.
We were there. Yeah. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. No, this was great, Kim. This was great. I look forward to the recap. I look forward to connecting, again with you and following you. Actually, I am following you on your, is it the YouTube or?
Yes, we just launched on YouTube. I had it dormant for a minute, but now we picked it back up. So we're on YouTube, and now we're on 5 different platforms on our podcast. So this will go out all over the world.
Awesome.
With Apple being the #1, we're on Spotify, we're on Amazon, we're on Speaker, and God is good. And
awesome.
Can you imagine Google Podcasts too?
Wow.
So we're doing it less than 30 days. We just shot up. So
wow. Congratulations, Kim. I mean, you've been so committed to your business and your focus as long as I've known you. And I'm happy to know that you're still kind of in your niche, and you're just continuing to go up, right? You're continuing to advance. It's just amazing. So congratulations, Kim.
Well, thank you, my dear. And we do turn 25 years May 1st. So We're going to see what our
Wow.
next is, coming
Okay.
there. So
You reimagining,
yeah, we're
Kim?
reimagining. We're reimagining. Thank you, Dan. We're reimagining. And I'm pivoting. As you see, I've been pivoted with this podcast show.
That's right. Awesome. It's good
So
stuff.
thank you so much, beautiful lady, for joining Inspired
Absolutely.
Conversations with Kim Evans. This is the lovely Miss Lynell Bevels. And you guys, if you would like to contact her, I am going to leave her contact information in the podcast so you can actually just click it below. Thank you so much, Lynell. Thank you so much,
Awesome.
podcast viewers. And thank you so much for watching. And God bless.
God bless you. Take care.